everyone, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the Micromasters Battle Patrol, which is TopShot and Flak. So these are another set that I definitely remember when I was a kid. I loved this guy. I had him, the original Micromaster of that guy when I was a kid, and I played with it all the time. Definitely one of my favorites. So I'm really excited to see these new redone version of these guys. So this is Flak, this is TopShot. Really nice artwork here on the card, as per usual. Says Micromaster there on the side. Not too much going on the bottom. On the back tells you it's the Battle Patrol. Shows Robot Mode, Alt Mode, and then they do combine together to make a blaster, which can be held by the deluxe class figures or larger, which is pretty cool. So let's go ahead, let's get these guys open, and let's take a closer look. Alright, so here is TopShot and Flak out of the packaging. We'll start with TopShot over here. I like his design. I definitely like the color scheme. I think they did a good job with the face sculpt. And the blue paint looks very good. Plus you have some nice paint down here on the torso with the silver. And I like the blue for the kind of crotch area. I think that really makes... it would be too much cream if everything was cream colored, so I like that they introduced some more blue there. He's got a ball joint in the shoulder where it actually connects to the arm, but then there's also a bit of a swivel in this part of the shoulder, and that has to do with the transformation, but it can get you some extra movement on the arm, which is nice. And then of course you have a waist swivel, you have ball joints in the hip, and then you do have pretty much 180 degrees in the knee because of the transformation. You also have these pieces here that act as big heels, which is nice because the turret can make it a little top heavy. Some nice paint there on the side. I love the little Autobot symbol as well. I think that's cool. So you can stand pretty well because of those heels. Transformation, very simple. You're going to flip out these large heel pieces and then peg the 2 feet together. Now I find that almost every time while I'm trying to rotate around the knees, they break apart. It's just going to happen. The knee joints are a little tight. You're also going to want to move up the actual cannon part of the turret. So this is where it gets a little weird. You can see that these gray pieces are going to come up and need to slide underneath the turret. And it's a little awkward. You just have to make sure everything's lined up, like this crotch plate's not lined up perfectly. There we go. So now bring this up. And the knee joints are very tight, so sometimes it's a little weird to get them moving around, but you have to kind of slide this underneath. There we go. So you can see how that went. You're going to do the same with this one, and you're supposed to do them at the same time, but like I said, I feel like the feet always come unpegged, and then you just peg them back together there. So now that you're done, the turret can move above them. So that works out well. You can bring the cannon back down. And then for the arms, you're just going to rock them back like this on that shoulder joint I showed you. And they don't really peg in anywhere. They just kind of sit back there. But it works. You have your little wheels right here and right here. So you have 4 wheels. Just a tiny little tank. And the turret can move around 360 degrees, as well as the cannon actually move up and down. So pretty cool little tank mode. Next up we have Flak, who is definitely my favorite out of the two. I remember this guy from when I was a kid, and he was definitely one of my favorites, so I'm super excited to see him get an updated version. You can see he's got ball joint in the shoulder there, arms one solid piece. He does not have any waist articulation, but he does have ball joint in the hip, and then again, easily 90, a little bit more degrees in the knee. And that's really for the transformation. But he looks great. Head sculpt good. Paint for the visor and then the paint for the face also really well done. It looks like mine has a little bit of like globbiness to it. But I can't tell if that's the plastic or the paint. I might try to clean that up later. But either way, he's tiny. It's forgivable. I think it looks pretty good. And great color scheme on this guy as well. His transformation, very simple. Push the head down into the chest. Just kind of straighten out the arms here. they don't officially connect. Like, it looks like this tab on the waist is supposed to connect somehow. It doesn't really. I mean, it kind of fits in the empty space, but then you're going to rotate this down just like that, and you can see a really nice Autobot symbol there. Then you just go ahead and peg the feet together, and then these two tabs on the end of the feet are going to peg in right here and here. So you just bring these up, peg it in just like that, and there you go. You have your super tiny little missile launcher. So these guys are really fun. I like them quite a bit. Transformation's relatively simple. Obviously, I think Flak's is easier than TopShot, but once you do TopShots once or twice, it's really not difficult at all. Alright, so they do have a combination. Basically, you transform them almost all the way back to robot mode. Flak straighten out his legs. You're going to bring this piece up, but instead of popping out the head, you're going to pop out this little tab. Just like that. So then he is pretty much done. Then you're going to come to this guy. You're going to pull out the feet from underneath the turret, and it's going to pop ball joints. It just happens. It's not a big deal. Like I said, the knees are just really tight, so it's kind of difficult to get that going, but they pop right back on. Very simple. You're going to want to pull the arms down. So basically, you do pretty much transform him all the way back to robot mode, but then you're going to do 180 degrees on the waist. Come back up here, and then you're going to put this back, and you can see that there is a tiny slit right here in his torso that this tab on the end of this gray piece is going to peg into. So you bring that in, and I'll get a little bit closer so you can see, and then that pegs in. Now, it doesn't peg in amazingly, to be honest, but it does work. There's just kind of a lot going on as far as trying to get these to peg to each other and then straighten out. There we go. And then you just kind of leave the arms down here like this, because otherwise they would get in the way for what comes next. So once that's all done, you're going to pull the turret straight down. That's going to act as the handle. And then you're going to bring these together. There's a tab here. There's a tab hole in the back of the turret. And you push those together. And you can see that these butt up against each other perfectly. And that's why you have to leave the arms of TopShot down so that they don't back into Flak's arms like that. So unfortunately you can see the robot head there, but not really anything you can do about it. But there you go. That gives you your combined large blaster. So having Punch demonstrate for us, you can see he holds it fairly well. I mean, it is kind of weighty, so it's, if you wanted to kind of push it all the way out, you know, he's contradicting me now. Before he was having trouble holding the weight, but there you go. Now, as you can see, there is a little bit of paint here for the kind of missile launcher, so it works a little bit better than some of the others. But you can go ahead and put these effect pieces in from Fire Drive if you would like. They don't peg in amazingly, but they peg in enough that you can see what you're going for there. See, now it's getting to be too much for him. Those little plastic pieces are so heavy. He's like, I can hold it without the plastic pieces, but the plastic pieces are too much. So yeah, it's not fitting in amazingly, but it's just looking weird. But there you go. You can kind of simulate with the effect piece that it's actually firing. So I think that's pretty cool. Again, I think this is a little bit better weapon as far as unfortunately, the race car patrol is still the worst weapon mode in my opinion. I think the airstrike patrol is the most successful. I think this is second most successful. And unfortunately, the two cars just don't really make a convincing weapon. But this looks like a coherent blaster all put together. So I think it works pretty well. So I think these guys are a ton of fun. Great paint applications, fun little robot modes, vehicle modes. They make a convincing weapon mode. So they really just check all the boxes for me. Nice articulation. They're just a ton of fun. I mean, I've been having a great time with these Micromasters, especially if you're anything like me and you're familiar with the original toys. It's so neat to see them kind of brought forward and remade with the advances in toy technology we've seen since the 80s. And let me tell you, there are quite a few. But yeah, even if you're not familiar with the original toys, I still think they're fun. $10 for 2 is a nice price point. I think they're worth it. And yeah, I definitely recommend picking them up. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching.